This section is about the creation of an audience architecture. In this particular instance, instead of pillars, we use products. So in the case of Life, there are 5 different product categories that we work with. And we'll use their product called Grow Up in this particular example. So from here, we build an audience architecture, which essentially is comprised of 4 different stages. First stage in this architecture is what we call a data audit. Here, we go about doing an inventory of first, second, and third-party data sources that exist within the client's ecosystem. We do this audit in order to understand what data is available to us and to assess if there are any gaps in the data that we may need to either fill using additional third-party data sources, or additionally, if we need to build synthetic data. Once this audit is completed, we then aggregate the data to ensure that we have sufficient volume in the size of the data, which would then allow us to build segments that are robust enough for activation. Prior to the segmentation, and this is still part of the aggregation, we bring the data together and enrich Life's first-party data with third-party data sources to enhance that data. The second stage of the audience architecture is where we aggregate and enrich the data. This allows us to build a unified view of Life's data, and importantly, to use their first-party data assets and enrich them with identified second and third-party data, enrich that data to allow us to have sufficient data to build sizable audience segments. First-party data has become the single most valuable asset that many clients have when it comes to their data, especially as third-party cookie tracking goes away. Following the aggregation of this data, we then move to segment the data. In the case of GLIC, we created 6 high-value segments. Each of those segments have to be validated and tested to make sure that there is enough volume in those segments for activation. We take into account a number of different profiling tactics when we segment these audiences, such as life stage, a risk profile, and then affinity or interest profiling. And this goes beyond the use of demographics. So it includes motivations, behaviors, and interests. Once those segments have been created, we then test those segments and provide ongoing optimization of those segments until we know that they are addressable and are ready for activation. Final stage in our audience architecture is where we map those segments back to the product along with creative messaging that will resonate against those particular segments. What brings this entire architecture together is our data workflow, as well as the technology systems that sit within this data workflow. Our workflow, importantly, is technology agnostic. What that really means is that we will work with whatever technology ecosystem a client has. In the case of Life, we pulled through data from their Salesforce CRM system and then extracted it from their Google Cloud platform, where most of their second and third-party data sits as well. The audiences are created in BigQuery. We also then have our proprietary procedure and process that sits on top of that, where we use machine learning to optimize those segments before they are pushed for activation. In this particular case, we used Life's instance of Amazon, which is their demand-side platform of choice, along with Google to test some of the other segments at the same time. And then finally, our proprietary audience planning measurement framework is used to track the performance and success of the campaign.